Prey is the all-new entry in the Predator franchise set 300 years ago that tells the story of a young Comanche woman who is a fierce and skilled warrior that ultimately confronts a highly evolved alien predator. And I'm super happy to say that this movie was awesome, which is surprising to say considering some of the previous entries in this franchise, especially the last one, The Predator, directed by Shane Black, which was a straight up stupid movie.
Eat your pussy.
Wait, what?
How you doing?
You know, you just said eat your pussy. You know, a lot of experts say that being on the spectrum isn't really a disorder. It's actually the next step in the evolutionary chain.
Everything okay back there?
So the goal for today is to analyze what Prey did to stand out as a good movie that the other Predator films failed to do. If you want to make a good movie in a franchise, then you have to make it similar enough to the original so that fans are not alienated, but you also have to make it different enough so that people don't feel like they're watching the same movie all over again. Because if you do end up making it similar enough, it will always fall short from its original predecessor. And even though Prey has its similarities here and there to the original, it finds creative ways to add new elements to make itself uniquely different and more than just another dumb, loud monster movie. And that's one of the many reasons why Prey is a much better movie. But before we start comparing scenes and dissecting them, we first need to talk about another major problem that the previous two films did. So with that being said, here's what to keep in mind when making a monster movie. Firstly, the thing that made Prey so emotionally immersive was the fact that our hero Naru was the wrong person to face the predator. Naru had such a strong desire to prove herself as a hunter that whenever she had the opportunity to kill something, she was unable to do so successfully.
Okay, well, I'll hunt alone if I have to.
You can't.
I can hunt.
You tried it. You couldn't bring it home.
Therefore, she's most likely not going to fare well against a predator, who are the ultimate hunters of the galaxy. But she still chooses to go hunt nonetheless, and this is where the movie falls flat a little because the motivation behind our main character's goal is to challenge gender norms, go against the flow, quite literally in some scenes. And I don't want to talk about why Hollywood is trying to push strong female characters down our throat, but my point is, that's why we cared about her journey. That's why we're so genuinely amazed when she overcomes the predator obstacles in the movie. But in the previous film, The Predator, all of this is the opposite. The motivation aspect, for example, is non-existent. Basically, our hero is a US Army Ranger sniper that gets accidentally thrusted into this alien situation and is now attempting to get back to his son while simultaneously trying to understand what's going on around. There's nothing inherently wrong with throwing characters into an unfamiliar situation because that's literally the essence of the first film. But the issue is that you have to show us who the characters are first so that we get to know them to see if we like them or not. The problem with the protagonist, Quinn McKenna, is that we don't know him. We don't know if he's a badass sniper because we've never seen him in action. We don't know if he's the honorable type that would save a fallen soldier. We don't know if he's a crazy guy that just likes killing people. We just don't know. Whereas in Prey, we know that Naru is a Comanche woman that's not good at hunting because they spend time showing us her multiple failed attempts at killing animals. So at least here we have an established character that we can relate to because we know who she is and what she wants, and more importantly, why she wants it. None of this was done for Quinn's character, and I'm not saying that you need to devote half an hour to develop a character arc for him, but you do need to establish his character before the madness begins. Take the original, for example. Dutch doesn't have some profound, deep character arc, but we know right away that he's a badass soldier because we see him execute a highly dangerous mission with relative ease. That's what the audience needs to see. You don't necessarily need to develop everybody's goals and motivation, but you need to show us who they are and what they're capable of in practice. Dutch and his men, for example, are elite soldiers that are capable of completing dangerous missions. Quinn McKenna is a sniper because they told us.
I'm a sniper.
He's a badass because they said so.
Through hostile territory toward my grave.
That's badass.
Therefore, it's important to always remember to take the time to establish your main characters in the beginning so that we're actually invested in their journey. Paying homage to the original is always a fun thing to do in sequels, but you walk a very fine line between paying homage and straight up copy pasting. If you make a scene look too identical to the original, then it just feels lazy and uncreative. Instead, what you need to do is make it slightly similar and add new variables to the situation so that it's distinct. That way, it feels like you found a creative way to pay respect to the original film rather than just stealing from its success. For example, in Prey, the final fight sequence is very similar to the final battle with Arnold Schwarzenegger in the first movie. It's nighttime in the jungle, Naru's hiding in the trees like Dutch was, she set up traps like Dutch did. However, there's still enough variance in this fight scene to make it special. For example, one of the variables that makes this fight so compelling and different is that the protagonist has the predator's mask. This new element adds an interesting dynamic to the final fight. Naru also uses orange tutsia, a medicinal flower, to hide from the predator's heat vision, and even though I found this to be one of the weaker aspects of the film, I still appreciated that they tried something new. If we look at Predators, on the other hand, the final fight is too identical to the original. Royce is camouflaging himself with mud, Royce says the exact same lines.
I'm here, kill me. Come on, do it now. Kill me. Let me out. Kill me. Come on, do it now. Kill me.
And the only two survivors are a man and a woman, just like the first one. And this is not even the worst example. Take a look at this scene, which is literally the exact same scene from the 1987 classic, just with different actors in it. One guy decides to stop following the pack to face his gruesome fate, and what do you know? There are 3 survivors left at this point, 2 boys and a girl. Seem familiar? And on top of that, instead of adding a new element to the fight like a different weapon to make it unique, no, they decide to go with the same weapon, a sword! And to top it all off, the same exact music is playing.
Billy, let's go.
These two scenes are perfect examples how not to pay homage, because they're just duplicating the success of the first one without finding clever ways to make it new. And this can go beyond just scenes, it can also affect the plot. In Predators, for instance, the plot is almost a carbon copy of the original movie's plot. A bunch of armed and lethal killers are in a jungle where there are predators hunting them down one by one. Sound familiar? In Prey, this isn't the case because they changed the plot just enough to make it feel like its own movie. Yes, there's a predator in a forest killing people, but at least our characters in this story are not elite special ops soldiers. They are Comanche natives who are much less equipped weapons-wise, which makes the situation more interesting. Not to mention, they're not the only ones involved in this story. There are these Frenchmen that also know about the creature that are trying to kill it. Hence, we have a story that's distinct and worthy of being a standalone film. As always, thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up. Comment down below your thoughts on the movie Prey. Do you think it's one of the better Predator sequels out there? Let me know. And before I go, I want to let you know that my next video will be ranking all the Predator movies from worst to best. So if that sounds fun to you, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a single video. Bye, guys.